Welcome to our video on how to outline a novel.
Outlining, for most authors, is an important step in the writing process, and today we'll explore some key aspects of creating an effective outline.
This video is part of our series on the novel writing journey, from conception to publication.
Hi, I'm Talia Newland, the Managing Editor at Alkera Publishing.
And I'm Rose, the book designer for Alkera Publishing. Let's start with a basic question. Why is outlining an important step in writing a novel?
Well, it helps the authors to visualise the whole plot, right? And it provides a clear roadmap that they can follow. It helps to maintain consistency and ensures that the story stays on track from start to the finish.
Not all authors do outlines though, right? Some people write by the seat of their pants. They call themselves pantsers.
That's right. And that's fine, but you can end up doing a lot of rewriting, and it's easy to have the story wander.
When you're not sure where it's going, it's easy to wander around, yes.
Absolutely.
So you advise writing an outline?
I do, but it doesn't have to be really detailed. I suggest that you don't write such a tight thing that you don't leave yourself any leeway for following inspiration. And you don't need to feel that you have to stick with it if good ideas come up while you're writing.
So what's the first step in creating an outline?
Well, just brainstorming ideas, really. It's about capturing your creativity without worrying about organisation.
So you could be jotting down all the ideas you have for things like characters, settings, conflicts and challenges, any random elements you want to put in, random scenes you want to put in, that kind of thing.
Anything.
The information the reader would need in order to understand the world.
Yes, that's right. And
then you order it after that.
Then you order it after that, yeah.
Right. So it's just a brain dump to start with.
Yeah, and for some authors that's enough. That's all they need to do, you know. But you need to organise your ideas eventually, right? And there's different ways that you could go about doing that. So you could group them into related categories, like character development, world building, a list of information that needs to be given when, so readers can understand the world, key plot points like major challenges, and all that helps you to see connections between the different elements, just visualising the overall structure, yeah. And then you can start placing your ideas into position on the plot structure.
So you mentioned plot, and we talked about plotting a lot in our previous video, but what's the difference between plotting and outlining then?
Well, essentially, a plot is how the core aspects of the story work together to bring about the dynamic tension, right? Structure is how those elements appear in scenes, right, which are laid out in order from the beginning to the end of the book. That's the structure. And outlining is a roadmap for actually writing the book. So it's more detailed. It tells the author what scenes they need to write and how they will fit into the structure.
So the outline is more detailed?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, can be.
Interesting.
Well, if you think of the plot structure as like a timeline, right, and you've got things happening at certain places, so your outlining is placing your scenes onto that structure, right, and being more specific about it. So you might know, I want the inciting incident at this point. Okay, so that you've done all your brainstorming and you've sort of got this idea and say, well, what is the inciting incident? Oh, it's this scene, I'm going to put that there.
Right, so it's more the specifics, putting your specifics in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why some authors will not do the outline, you know, the just knowing what their basic structure is will be enough, and they just sort of write that. You know, for me, I started with an outline without any idea of what my plot structure was.
Wow, that's a weird way of going about it.
Well, you know, I think most authors, when they start writing, they just write. You know, they've got an idea for a book and they just write, and that's fine. But when I started writing, you know, there weren't videos like this around. And when I realised I knew nothing about writing, that's when I started to read books about writing and
plot and structure.
Started to learn about it. And that's when I look back at what I was writing, go, oh, okay, I think I might just, you know,
rearrange some things.
Yeah.
So that means you need to have decided on the basic plot structure before you can outline it, yeah?
Yeah, well, that's best. I mean, you could outline without having done like that, as I just said that I did. But it's easier and a smoother process if you've chosen a plot structure already to follow. You know, like the 3-act structure or the 12-point hero's journey or any other structure.
And you can see our video on plot if you click on the link.
Plot and structure, yes. So whatever you choose, right, for the structure is going to help you place all your scenes and ideas in an order that will work.
So what kind of things do you need to consider when you're writing an outline?
Well, all the things we've talked about up to this and all our other videos. So basically your protagonist's inner journey, right, and which scenes you'll need to draw in their background, their motivation, their strengths, their weaknesses over the course of the book. The outer journey, which is of course the action of the story, the setting and the world building points, the key plot elements, basically all of those other videos
all the things
we've talked about.
Previous in this series.
Yeah.
And so how detailed should the setting and world building be in the outline?
Really depends on the author.
Yeah.
Okay. That's so very, very personal. I like something in the middle. Just enough of an outline so you basically know what you're writing, and that's enough. Yeah.
Right.
But for some people, other people, they really need to put the points in detail. Yeah.
So outlining isn't really about the detail, but it's about planning with your world building, like when the reader needs to know different elements about the world in order for the rest of the elements, like the storyline, to make sense.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's really important they know this limitation of magic at this point, sort of thing. So again, if you want to see our video on world building, you can watch that video.
Yeah, but the important thing, of course, is not to dump it all in one place, right? So that's called an info dump. So you need to pass out these things over the period of the story.
Yeah. So it's really important to know your key plot points before you start outlining then, yes?
Yeah. Identifying your key plot points is essential because these are the major events and turning points that shape your story. So they should, of course, align with your chosen plot structure to ensure a cohesive sort of
narrative arc.
Yes.
So outlining just puts them into the order and position that they will appear within the book. Yeah.
And one way, honestly, one way that I did it was I actually drew out this huge timeline.
Yeah, you had lots of sticky notes
and
that you
each scene,
around.
each idea was on a sticky note, and I placed it actually on the plot structure.
That was fun. That was
timelining. So all I had was a heading, and that was a scene. Yeah, and that was my outlining. Yeah. For instance, the inciting incident, the midpoint twist, and the climax.
The major points.
Yeah.
So finally, how does one go about creating a more detailed scene-by-scene outline?
Well, a scene-by-scene outline breaks the story into individual scenes in which you detail what happens, what characters are involved, and how each scene contributes to the overall plot of the story. It serves as a detailed roadmap. Yeah.
Okay. And that helps with the pacing and narrative flow so that you do less work in your later drafts, I would imagine.
Yes.
Because you've got it all nutted out. I imagine not everyone does it with that level of detail, though.
No,
I feel like for some people that could really ruin the flow of writing.
Well, it does depend on your experience as an author, but also if your work's not working, sometimes it's good to go back and look at these things because like one scene should have its arc. Its story arc. It should have a beginning, a middle, and an end in a scene, and a certain amount of tension, aims for the beginning of the scene and that kind of thing. So you can, in your outlining, just note that down. Like a scene, George wants to go to the pub, Henry doesn't want to go to the pub. There's your conflict for the scene, and you've just noted it down, and you've put it in the order where you need to know something about the background of George's desire to go to the pub, his history, or something about their relationship, right? So
knowing that seems important there because of these reasons.
And that's what you sort of want to put in there, and just to make sure it's covered.
So it sounds like outlining should be a flexible process, though, right? Can it change as the story develops?
Absolutely. The outline is a living document. As you write, you will discover new directions to your story, surprising events come into your mind that you hadn't thought about. So it's often necessary to make adjustments to the outline, which is why I really love the sticky notes. Other things that, hang on a minute, this might be better down there. Or you want to add something in, write on sticky note, add it in.
Yeah. So the outline sort of helps keep it cohesive, but it's also a tool for exploration.
Yeah, that's right.
It helps you explore like different options.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's more about the process than the end result.
And I imagine you'd go back to the outline if it's, you go back while writing even individual scenes, you'd go back and forth a fair bit.
Yeah, and it's a personal process, so how you do it is entirely up to you. You find what works best for you, and my advice would be don't be afraid to experiment, and treat your outline as a foundation. That's all. Yeah.
It's good advice. We hope this video helped you learn about outlining and your writing journey. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Catch you next time. Next time.
Next time.
Next time? What is next time? I don't know anything about a next